I don't understand the difference between interest and value. When a cat may value the food that he's about to eat, but is not necessarily interested in it, but still he places value on it. So I don't understand how that works out in the.
Well, we are interested in things that have value. So.
But not all things that have value have interest.
Well, isn't a food a biological need?
Yeah. So is novelty, though. Well, the thing about food is that it's interesting if you're food deprived, and it's not if you're not. So it depends on your current state of interpretation. So you can never identify anything as having interest as an intrinsic aspect of that thing. That's something we'll cover in more detail too. But if something is valuable to you, you're interested in whether the valence is positive or negative. Now that interest can fluctuate. I mean, and when you ask a question like that too, you want to make sure that you've discriminated in your own mind the difference between the two terms that you're using. So there's obviously some overlap between interest and value. It strikes me that probably what you're referring to is that things that have no specified biological significance, but that are unpredictable, are interesting. Whereas something like food is valuable. So you might be able to say that interest is the more general phenomena of value before it's being discriminated into its subcomponents. Okay, because if something unexpected happens, it attracts your interest, which means that you value it. But you have no determination of the value yet. You can only say, here is something that I didn't predict. And then the purpose of exploration is to put it into the appropriate boxes. Well, that's something that you want to give some consideration to. Because that's, like in a sense, that's one of the most fundamental things that I want you to learn. Is that when we classify things using exploration, we're not attributing meaning to something that has a neutral background. We're taking something that has a very broad range of non-specific meaning and restricting it to something specific. Okay. So for example, I'll make it more concrete. You take a rat by the tail and you drop him into a new cage. Well, interest is everywhere. It's non-specific. The rat's going to sit there like this. First of all, it's going to be paralyzed because it doesn't move. Like its motor systems are inhibited by its anxiety system. It is not moving. And the reason it's not moving, well, the rat doesn't know this, but this is what we would presume. The reason it's not moving is because in novel territory there may be a predator. And if you don't move, then predators can't see you. So the rat sits there like this, and maybe it'll sniff a little bit because that doesn't draw any attention to itself. And if nothing happens that kills it, slowly it starts to unwind a little bit, and then it's the systems that mediate curiosity, which are the incentive reward systems technically, start driving the rat around, and the rat will explore. And what it's trying to do is reduce the non-specific value of the novel environment to something specified, which you could say in a sense, is there anything here that will hurt me? So it's looking for punishments. It's actually looking to avoid them, but it wants to know where the hell they are. Is there anything here that will make me anxious? Which is to say, is there anything here that signifies that a punishment is likely? Is there anything here that I can eat or that will otherwise satisfy one of my consumatory requirements? Or is there anything here that will signify the presence of something that will satisfy my consumatory requirements? Those are 4 categories: punishment, satisfaction, threat, and hope, basically. And what the rat is trying to do is to restrict the indeterminate significance of the novel circumstance to a discriminate category, which is to say it wants to know exactly where all the things that have determinate value are located. Mostly it's going to map nothing, because that's the alternative category. It's like no relevance. And most of the things around you are mapped into that box. Like you think about your reactions in this room. Most of the phenomena in this room are not attracting your attention. And I mean, you can divert your attention to them, but like those things, those are irrelevant, you know. Had I not pointed them out, perhaps you'd remember they were there, perhaps you wouldn't. They signify nothing from the motivational perspective. So you've mapped them as irrelevant. And most of the things you map are mapped as irrelevant. That is how they started out. They started out as novel. That's the fundamental, that's the opening position.